Hello everybody, John here from Jon Grainger on Motorsport. We're here today at Silverstone for the launch of the new Mercedes W08, and we've got Sam Collins here from Race Car Engineering who's going to be talking us through some of the interesting points about this car. So Sam, what's been of interest to you?
Well, the name of the car is not the W08, it's the W08 EQ Power Plus, which sounds like something you might find in the medicine aisle of Morrison's, your local supermarket. But actually looking at the car overall, it's got quite an evolutionary design about it. There's a lot on it, I think, that's carried over. They say only 14%, but looking at it, a lot of the concepts, the whole nose concept, for example, is a straight swap over from the 2016 car, which is a slightly different shape and size, but the same concept. We're going to see a lot more development on this car in the next 2 weeks in Barcelona, and certainly even more in the run up to the first race at Melbourne. And they're saying it's going to be the most exciting development war we've seen ever in Formula One. And we're already seeing today, just in that the shakedown we're seeing today, development parts are beginning to appear on the car. And the most striking of those is this weird T-wing we've seen. We've just got it up on the laptop here. You've got this strange T-shape that is. We've worked out, I was talking to Chris Garber, and we always exchange ideas on stuff like this when we're a bit lost as to the purpose of this. We think they're exploiting a little bit of an error in the technical regulations. When they change the technical regulations, the dimensions, we think, from the rear wing regulations, which we changed this year, lower, wider rear wings, different levels of downforce, they didn't quite remove the legality box that gives you the freedom. So we think this little T section is the exact same width and height and position as the old rear wing. So they've used that little exploit to get you a better flow across the rear wing. In what way that better flow is, I haven't got a wind tunnel handy with a Mercedes W08 handy to tell you exactly what it does. Anybody comments on exactly what these aero parts on a car do without using wind tunnel data hasn't got a clue what they're talking about. You cannot look at a car and tell you what an aero part does, because air doesn't necessarily react to the way you think it's going to. So it's impossible to say exactly what it's for, and the team haven't commented too much about what it's really for. But looking out around the car, you can see a few other key details, those lower, wider wings, but what you'll see at the back of the car, it's really tight. This is what I'd call a size 0 car, like we've seen with McLaren in recent years. And you can see how much tighter it is. The floor's obviously wider, which exacerbates that effect a lot, but there's a huge undercut under here, and it's absolutely the tightest car I think we've seen. Compared to even recent McLarens, it's even tighter at the rear. So when that engine cover comes off in Melbourne on Thursday or Friday, I'll be observing that with great detail to see quite how they've done it. You see the bulge coming out here, that's where they keep all the coolers, the radiators that you'll see on most cars. The roll hoop concept is exactly the same as it was last year, with the central segment, if you like, feeding the combustion air to the engine. The outer segments are feeding cooling to the MGU, H and K. They're both new for this year. With the new chassis means you must have a new engine because the load's going through it. Little turbo cooler on the back there. This area of the car here is also particularly interesting. It's got these strange horns that come off the side of the monocoque. Now, again, it's hard to say exactly what they're for, and even if the team tell you, you don't know if they're telling you the truth. But because they're sitting right ahead of what are very small cooling openings on the side pod, I think that might be something to do with the cooling through the car rather than anything to do with generating downforce outside. But that's just a guess. You've got lots of little and very complex aero components outboard, the barge board area. I'm not sure how strong, if you can see. No, that's as bright as we're going to get from this photo. And then the front suspension, pretty much as you expect with a 2017 Formula One car. Standard layout, double wishbone, you've got a push rod going to the springs in the middle, damping as well, that's all going to be internal. I don't expect to see great development on that. There is some controversy, as you've probably heard, about the third elements, and whether people using collapsible elements to get a better rake on the car as it drives around the lap. Now, a lot of people are misreporting this a little bit and talking about it's just this element on the front because Mercedes had an element on the front that we all saw. It's a lot more of it is to do with the rear of the car, as I understand it, and about half the grid had such a system last year. There's a long dispute going on about it, and I think it's going to be one of the stories of this year. When will that get back? I predict there'll be a rule change in Monaco, because it always seems to happen in Monaco, and then half the teams are going to have to chuck the back end of their car and start again, because Formula One likes doing things cheaply.
What was your thoughts on the front wing? Because it seems to be a similar design to what was run in Abu Dhabi, just a little bit wider.
It's wider, it's certainly wider, it's swept back. As I say, the whole front end of the concept of the car is pretty similar to what we saw at the end of last year, which says to me there's a lot more to come in that area. We haven't seen all the tricks of this car yet.
Sounds good. Well, thank you everybody for watching. That's all we've got time for from the launch of the W08. Thank you ever so much to Sam Collins for joining us, and we'll speak to you soon.